Thank you, everybody. Thanks for coming out today. I'm Jim Holmes, Mayor of Waco. Great to be here. Thanks to the Greater Waco Chamber of Commerce, first of all, for putting on this event. And thanks to Matt and Chris and the whole crew over at GWCC. Your partnership is so important to the city of Waco, and we appreciate you guys. Thank you also to all the sponsors today. I won't read them all off, but I'm a finance guy, so I know you guys hold on, I'm an old musician, so I know how to work these things. I know that you guys have funded this thing, so I appreciate all the sponsors. Thanks also to Baylor University and the beautiful Herd Center. This place is fantastic. I love it. Thank you for hosting us, and thank you to everybody for coming today. The purpose of today's presentation is to provide a brief overview of the many projects and initiatives we have going on at the city. But the most important thing I'm going to say today is that the state of the city is strong. And let's hear it for the city of Waco. We're going to cover a quick agenda here today. I'm going to cover our Waco leadership here briefly. We're going to talk about the budget that we adopted here a couple months ago. And then City of Waco initiatives, I'm going to spend a little time talking about some of the things we're going through. You know, I was just elected as mayor not that long ago, a few months ago. We did have a peaceful transition of power, Dylan Meek and myself. But I will say that there is a record crowd here today, more than last year when Dylan was the mayor. So it's clear to me that an experienced mayor outdraws a young, cute mayor. You know, you can see that right there. Anyway, I also want to talk just briefly about my family. I know anybody that's in public service knows that for you to be successful, you have to have a good spouse behind you, a good family that supports you. And I'm very lucky that Cindy, my wife, has been very supportive of me. And I've got a great family and just love it. Cindy is a fourth grade teacher over at Bishop Louis Riker. My younger son there is an eighth grader over there. He's a little athlete. My older son, Spencer, is a banker down in Austin. And I wish I could get him back to Waco. But he's my adventure travel buddy, and that's us in the Antarctic last winter, which was fun. I want to spend just a little bit of time talking about the leadership here in Waco. So thankful and honored that a lot of people in this room were supporters of mine in my election to mayor, so I appreciate that. And I'm happy and proud that I have an extremely strong, experienced, collaborative council that I get to work with. I'm going to introduce them right now. In District 1, Andrea Bearfield. Eloquent, she's plugged in locally, at the state, nationally, she's brilliant. We've served together for 7 years, and we're so lucky to have AJ on council. In District 2, Alicia Rodriguez, La Reina del Distrito 2. She is the queen of District 2. She's been like a big sister to me, great source of practical advice, and she does so much for her constituents. District 3, Josh Borderud, great legal mind, highly refined and expressive sense of humor, a master of memes, and helps explain some of the finer legal points on council issues. District 4, Darius Ewing, brilliant young mind, very quick study on issues, and makes me feel great about the future of Waco. I love working with Darius. And District 5 is George Chase, newest council member, great business mind, served as chairman of this Greater Waco Chamber of Commerce not just a few years ago. Has taken my old spot as District 5 councilman. He will be the best councilman there in at least 8 years, I know that. And finally, I want to just talk about City Manager Bradley Ford, another bright young mind who has great vision for this city and for our future. We're so lucky to have Bradley in Waco, right guy for the right time. The guy's a workaholic, which I love. He manages 1,600 City of Waco employees, good friend, and great family. Would y'all please stand? They're all at this table right here. Let's join me in applauding their work, dedication. I want to also recognize another level of city leadership, and quite honestly, this is where all the work gets done. You know, these are the generals right here, and I want to quickly run through them. Kathy Perdon, our interim city attorney, who's doing a great job here. Michelle Hicks, our city secretary. Bobby Garcia, our municipal court judge. Deidre Emerson, our deputy city manager over here, and our 4 assistant city managers: Paul Kane, Ryan Holt, Lisa Blackman, and Blue Kostelitz. Could you guys please stand and let's hear it from these guys. These guys are the ones that get the work done. Next, we're going to move on to the budget. In this year's budget process, we faced, as Judge Felton mentioned, a little tighter fiscal environment than in previous years, with the headwinds of inflation, rising costs, and slightly slower rates of growth in property values and sales tax revenues. The current City Council and staff are committed to fiscal responsibility, and Waco's financial footing remains strong. We are well positioned to continue serving the city's needs in a growing local economy. Just a few budget highlights. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this, but out of the $585 million citywide budget, we actually cut our year-over-year general fund budget by reducing non-personnel related expenses. And utility rate increases were held to below inflation rates. We have a strong balance sheet and cash reserves. We have the strongest cash reserves in the history of the city. We are making a renewed commitment to improved systems, software, and processes, and we will focus on processes as we strive to deliver best-in-class services. We are maintaining the lowest tax rate in more than 16 years, and we're preserving that higher property tax exemption that we put in place a couple of years ago to benefit homeowners and residents over 65 years old. As we set initiatives here, we review the city's values, objectives, and budget resources each year. Our goal is to align those initiatives with the needs of our residents while continuing to improve our infrastructure, enhance our quality of life, and incorporate thoughtful economic development as we work to create a stronger, more vibrant city for everyone. In my time on council and business and life, I have been inspired by the quote of Francis of Assisi, a 13th century Christian philosopher. He said, "Start by doing what is necessary, then do what is possible, and all of a sudden you're doing the impossible." And as I think about how we approach city demands, I like to reflect on the context of St. Francis's words. And in my mind, I categorize the city's initiatives in the following manner. When I think about necessary, I think public safety and improved infrastructure. Everybody wants to feel safe, and they want to have a road to get to work and church and school. The possible, a little bit of frosting on the cake, economic development and improved quality of life. We work on those deals to make life a little nicer here in Waco. And then maybe the aspirational, the impossible, downtown revitalization and quality job creation. So I'm going to go through each one of those just briefly. We start with what is necessary. When I think of city government, public safety and city services are always at the top of the list. City of Waco dedicates over $100 million per year to public safety expense. That's police and fire expense. That's nearly the same amount as our total property tax revenue. So we are investing in public safety. Last year we saw over 95,000 calls for service from police, and I'm proud to report that in 2024 we continue to see the lowest overall crime rates in Waco in over 20 years. Let's hear it. I mean, that's Chief Victorian, absolutely. Chief Victorian and her officers, let's thank them for their dedicated commitment to the safety of this community. And our fire department, I was here again. I wish Chief was here today. I'm sure she's out catching the bad guys. In our fire department, we are an ISO 1 rated community. That's the highest possible rating. Now, the ISO rating is actually an insurance rating where insurers set homeowners' insurance rates. So if you have an ISO 1 rating, that savings is coming back to you, the citizens. So we're getting a great return on investment in our police and fire departments. We recently swore in our new chief, Scott Walker, and he's off to a great start. The city is working on 2 new fire stations. Fire Station 15 is under construction on Panther Way at a cost of $6 million and is targeted for completion in March of 2025. Fire Station number 4 is being built on LaSalle Avenue at a cost of $7 million and is targeted for completion in August 2026. Our water utilities and solid waste teams manage and service over 50,000 water service connections for our residential and commercial customers. In 2023, we produced more than 10 billion gallons of drinking water for the region and processed more than 7 billion gallons of wastewater. And we collected around 130 tons of waste and picked up nearly 100% of the trash collections on time. We were right at 99%. Another core component of necessary governmental operations is infrastructure improvement. And infrastructure has been a primary focus of the Waco City Council since I joined 8 years ago. In our 2024 budget year alone, we funded the highest amount of infrastructure improvements in Waco history, $157 million, for streets, bridges, water, wastewater, and drainage systems, plus $25 million for the ongoing work at the riverfront development and $16 million for parks. The city of Waco has over 1,500 lane miles of road, 8 years ago when I first got on council, we measured the pavement condition index of Waco streets, and we calculated an index of 40. It's on a scale of 1 to 100. We were not meeting standards. Most peer cities maintain an index of around 70. So in the last 8 years, in an effort to raise our pavement condition index from 40 to 70, we've taken our streets funding each year from $3 million a year to $30 million a year, which has improved our PCI to 52. We're still not at 70, but we're on our way. As older inner city streets deteriorate and as suburban growth necessitates expansion, fixing and maintaining Waco's streets is an expensive proposition. We continue to strategize the funding and the prioritization of street construction and maintenance projects across all parts of our city. As our existing regional landfill reaches capacity next year, we will move to the new FM 939 site by June 2025. The new state-of-the-art landfill is being built at a cost of $23 million. The city's also building an associated transfer station at a cost of $16 million, also set to open in June. The new landfill system will create flexibility and optionality for the city. Water and wastewater treatment capacity, a high priority for the city, and we're doubling the capacity of our existing Bullhide wastewater treatment plant located south of Waco to 4 million gallons per day at a cost of $70 million. Completion of this plant is targeted for July 2027. You know, when we have our necessary initiatives out there, going back to St. Francis's quote, we move on to what's possible. First, economic development. Waco has seen tremendous growth in the last 8 years. It truly is a city that people believe in, want to be a part of, and want to do business in. In the last 8 years, we've added 33 new businesses, 4,300 new jobs, $3.3 billion with a B of capital investment. And we've seen some big names come to this city, including some of the ones that Judge Felton covered: Graphic Packaging, Amazon, Ooze and Oots, Envases, Hello Bello, and more. These new companies create a larger tax base for the city, shifting the balance from residential to commercial, and create financial security for our residents through higher paying jobs. All visitors are coming to Waco for the Silo Magnolia experience, or as they come to the Waco for the Silo Magnolia experience, they're staying at our hotels to visit our zoo, our museum, our shops, our parks, the suspension bridge, the Mammoth site, and to eat and drink at the myriad of restaurants. There's been significant growth in the Waco market with over $10.5 billion in gross retail sales last year and $121 million in hotel revenues. Thanks, Carrie. I'll thank you too for the hotel stuff. You get credit for it. We've also seen over $550 million of total capital investment in mixed-use developments, including the Herringbone, Pivovar, Terry Black's, Opal's Oyster Bar, the new Casa de Brazil, and the multiple mixed-use developments along Elm Avenue. We've also seen the opening of several top-notch hotels, including the 1928, the Marriott AC, and the Cambria. As the city successfully takes care of necessary basics, it also becomes possible to expand investment in quality of life initiatives. China Spring Park. It's a new park located in the rapidly growing China Spring neighborhoods of Waco. Construction on this $7 million project is targeted for completion in March of 2026. Floyd Casey Park. $25 million would be one of the largest park investments in Waco's history and will highlight Waco Creek while creating multiple community gathering places and play areas that are accessible to people of all abilities, an all-inclusive park. Completion is targeted for July of 2026. And we continue to improve on the iconic Cameron Park and all the city parks to make them more user-friendly and enjoyable. The Cameron Park Zoo Penguin Shores exhibit opened in early August, and the Education and Veterinary Center will host a ribbon cutting later this month. These zoo projects are part of a tremendous partnership at the zoo between the city, the county, Cameron Park Zoological Society, generous philanthropic donations from local Wacoans, and McLennan County residents who passed the zoo bond election. Our renovated airport terminal opened in late 2023. Waco Regional Airport now has a sleek, modern look with beautiful public art installations that tell the story of Waco to our travelers and visitors. And we also have a new food service provider coming soon, which will have a rotating menu highlighting local restaurant dishes from throughout Waco. Once we build on what is possible, going back to St. Francis's quote, we suddenly are doing the impossible. Not only are we seeing it as impossible, we are getting there. We're getting it done. and downtown revitalization that was seemingly impossible only a few years ago is now becoming a reality. We've already seen the tremendous progress and a sneak peek at what the future of downtown along the riverfront will look like with the completion of the Foster Pavilion and the opening of initial phases of riverfront development. That's over $700 million of investment. The development includes 400 residential units, retail units, 2 riverside restaurants, and 2 parking garages totaling 900 parking spaces. I'm extremely grateful to Baylor leadership, and I know Linda Livingstone is here today, and I appreciate it. Let's hear it for Baylor and President Livingstone. I am extremely grateful to Baylor leadership for sharing the vision of bringing the sports venues downtown in order to maximize the game day experience for fans and students and vendors and business owners. The $25 million reconstruction of the Riverwalk from Webster Avenue to Baylor Law School is also set to begin this month, with completion expected in April of 2026. This project includes improved lighting, accessibility, and several water features. The council is also intentional about the development and infrastructure improvements on both sides of the Brazos River. And the recent completion of Elm Street structural improvements in the Bridge Street Plaza, along with new hotels, the new Dory Miller Community Center, new residential units, and the newly relocated Waco Farmers Market, seeks to foster engagement and economic growth in East Waco. When I first moved to Waco in 1981, there were only 1 or 2 businesses operating downtown. Some of you older guys can remember that. 10 years ago, there were maybe 8 to 10 total. But I will say that the Magnolia brand became a catalyst of growth downtown. And the heart of Waco is now activated with new restaurants and bars and shops all along Webster, Mary, Franklin, Austin, Elm, Washington, and University Parks. My wife Cindy and I enjoy walks in downtown Waco to see all the new places and eat at the new restaurants and enjoy musical events at the Backyard or the Texas Music Cafe or Brotherwell or Brazos Nights and many other venues. In 2022, council and staff started a process to set a vision for contiguous downtown land parcels that were owned primarily by the city and other government entities. The goal was to build an aspirational roadmap to what downtown Waco could be. In early 2024, the city selected Hunt Development Group as our master developer, and they assembled a top-tier team, a internationally recognized top-tier team, to establish a long-term vision and framework for the city that includes a mini San Antonio-style Riverwalk, a new city hall, a convention center, a performing arts center, a sports park, youth sports areas, and abundant connected green space. The vision is imagined in several phases and will not happen overnight, but we're getting ready for first steps of phase 1. The final aspirational initiative that we're going to make come true here is finding solutions to workforce capacity and job creation. This council and staff are creative in envisioning ways to prepare the Waco workforce to meet the needs of new and existing Waco businesses. The Bledsoe Miller Steam Center is being built at Franklin and MLK with a capital investment of $13 million and completion targeted for January 2026. This facility will house a community center focused entirely on science, technology, engineering, arts, and mathematics educational programming. We're excited to be working with the Navy, SpaceX, Waco Region 12, Baylor, MCC, TSTC, and other community stakeholders on key components of this facility and the associated programming. Waco partnered with McLennan County and Texas State Technical College for the creation of the WorkSite, a 30,000 square foot workforce training and upskilling facility customized to our community, where locals can receive workforce training and micro-credentialing for the many different industrial skills needed at both existing and future industries in the region. Tangentially related to workforce building is the need for housing. In 2022, the city completed a housing study and developed a housing strategic plan. And based on this plan, Waco is currently supporting 11 new housing projects. These initiatives will contribute over 700 single-family homes and nearly 700 multifamily units on top of that to the Waco housing market upon completion. These developments are located all over Waco, including the Floyd Casey development, the Riverfront, the Renaissance at Sanger Avenue, Cameron Park Pocket Neighborhood, the MLK Pocket Neighborhood, and future developments on 12th Street and 15th Street. So just to recap the priorities and close here. Again, necessary, which I feel, public safety and improved infrastructure, possible economic development, quality of life improvements, and I will say we are doing the impossible now, downtown revitalization and quality job creation. So it's hard to capsulize all the great things that are going on in Waco here in 20 minutes, but we are also moving very intentionally on equity and inclusion objectives, and we are celebrating our positive relationships with our educational institutions, our 3 chambers of commerce, our charitable foundations, our faith community, our nonprofit volunteer organizations, and our county, state, and federal officials. I love Waco. I am proud of Waco, and these are great times to be a Wacoan. Thank you for all of your feedback and guidance as I serve my term as mayor of this great city. Thank you again for having me here today.